I bought a full-size adventure bike in Singapore, a country where the most extreme terrain is a wet multi-story car park ramp, one badly painted road line, and my own financial decisions. This bike has everything. Has it seen sand? Nope. Has it seen Shell, Esso, SPC? Absolutely. Welcome to Singapore Adventure Starter Pack. All the gear, no sand, maximum delusions.
By the way, guys, this is just a disclaimer. This video is targeted at people like me. For myself, I know many ADV riders who actually go to the sand and ride off-road. So please don't get offended. In Singapore, we have a very specific group of riders. Well, riders who own an adventure bike, just like me. Panniers, crash bar packs, tank bags, auxiliary lights, GPS mount, you name it, we have it. Basically, ready to take a trip to Mongolia. But in reality, I'm probably just heading out to buy coffee. However, that being said, somehow, it still makes a lot of emotional sense to get an adventure bike. In today's edition of Singapore Adventure Starter Pack, all the gear, no sand.
Adventure bikes are a very strange thing to own in a city. They are tall, wide, heavy, expensive. Mine has enough boxes to carry camping gear, tools, rain gear, cameras, emergency supplies. But the weird thing is, even though adventure bikes make very little sense in Singapore, I still kind of think they make perfect sense. Not logically, emotionally, which is worse. Let's start with the obvious problem. Singapore is small. You can ride from one end of the country to the other before your playlist really gets going. The bike is tall enough to see over cars, but also wide enough to make every tight gap feel like a moral decision. Every time I lane split with the panniers on, they whisper, "Are you sure, bro?" And then there's the adventure aesthetic. Crash bars ready to protect me from rocks, trees, and the occasionally badly placed car park pillar. A top box big enough for a helmet, groceries, camera gear, and everything else. It's ridiculous, but it is also beautiful.
All the gear, no sand. Jacket, ADV helmet, panniers, camera recording. It looks like I'm ready to go Mongolia. In reality, I'm going to go buy coffee about 10 minutes away from here. My bike, ready for expeditions, crossing mountains, crossing rivers. Unfortunately, I'm ready for aircon and iced coffee, bro.
So, what is the Singapore Adventure Starter Pack? Step 1, buy an adventure bike. Step 2, prepare it for terrain that looks nothing like your daily commute. First, panniers. Raincoat, in. Gloves, in. Water bottle, in. Tire kit, in. Cable ties, definitely. Second, crash bars. Very useful if you drop the bike. Also very useful if you want to tell yourself that adding more weight to an already heavy bike is somehow responsible. Third, auxiliary lights. Safety, obviously. Fourth, GPS mount, because sometimes the road calls. Turn left into the petrol station.
Fifth, toolkit. Well, can I actually fix a bike? No way. I carry tools not because I'm confident I can fix the bike. I carry tools because, well, I like the idea of being the kind of person who can fix the bike. And honestly, this is the real adventure starter pack. It is not just equipment, it is a fantasy of readiness. It says, one day I might cross a river, but today I am mostly prepared for bad lunch decisions.
The annoying thing about adventure bikes is that once you ride one, the nonsense starts explaining itself. The riding position is upright, comfortable, and weirdly commanding. Singapore may not have mountain trails, but we do have roadworks, wet roads, potholes, lane markings that become ice the moment it rains. And suddenly, the big adventure bike feels slightly less stupid. Panniers are easy to roast until you need them. Yes, I could use a backpack, but I also enjoy having a spine. So no, I don't need panniers every day. But every day I have them, I feel ready for anything. Even if anything is mostly rain and bad lunch decisions.
Stupid thing is, once you live long enough with this bike, everything starts to make sense. No more back pain, I can fit all my camera gear in. I don't have to worry about the rain anymore because I have storage space for a raincoat. Is it an overkill to buy this bike? Well, it is a useful overkill. And this is how Singaporean riders justify buying a $50,000 machine. Yes, that's how much it costs to buy an Africa Twin Adventure Sports in Singapore.
Of course, in Singapore, a big adventure bike can feel a bit dramatic. Heat, traffic, parking, tight spaces. There are definitely easier bikes to live with. Smaller bikes, cheaper bikes, lighter bikes. But the thing is, this bike was never really built for Singapore alone. The moment you cross into Malaysia, the whole adventure fantasy becomes slightly less ridiculous. Longer roads, bigger skies, rain clouds, petrol stops, random detours. Suddenly, the comfort matters, the wind protection matters, the storage matters. The bike stops feeling like an overkill and starts feeling like the right tool. And maybe that is the reason why Singaporeans buy adventure bikes. Not because we always need them, but because we like knowing we could go further. Motorcycles are rarely bought with pure logic. If they were, most of us would be taking public transport and investing the difference responsibly. Unfortunately, we chose noise, petrol, helmets, and expensive luggage boxes. An adventure bike is not just a machine. It is a promise you make to yourself. A slightly dramatic, financially irresponsible promise. It says, maybe not today, maybe not this weekend, but one day, I can just pack and go. One day, the box will carry more than rain gear. One day, the road will be longer than my excuses. Until then, it can survive traffic, carry snacks, and look unnecessarily ready at petrol stations. And honestly, I am okay with that.
So yes, me and my bike, we haven't really seen much sand or gravel together yet. We haven't crossed the deserts or the mountains. But you know what it does? It makes normal roads feel big. It makes every little trip feel like a mini escape. And you know what? That is enough for me. It makes me want to keep on filming, keep on riding, and maybe one day justify these boxes. Sometimes the adventure is not about the terrain. It's about the part of you that still wants to keep on living, keep on going. 6 Gear Tavern, the road never sleeps.